From her debut in MMA all the way back in 2012 to spending sleepless days and nights training with Diego Lopez, her jiu-jitsu coach, Alexa Grasso has come a long way, and now she's making history as the first Mexican-born woman to hold a UFC title. On March 4th, former UFC women's flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko took on Grasso in the co-main event of UFC 285 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Shevchenko's reign as UFC women's flyweight champion has come to an end after she was knocked out by challenger Alexa Grasso at UFC 285. She entered the fight as a heavy favorite, having made 8 title defenses. Meanwhile, Grasso entered the fight as a massive underdog, but stunned the reigning champion with a stunning submission with a minute left in the 4th round to secure the upset victory. The co-main event was electrifying, with Grasso putting on the show of a lifetime to shock the world and snatch the belt from Shevchenko's grasp. Except for the early grappling exchanges, Grasso displayed superior striking abilities on the feet and appeared to be in command of the action. She took advantage of Shevchenko's mistake by locking in a strong face crank submission and winning in round 4. While the upset arguably altered the division's trajectory, many fight fans questioned whether the March 4th title fight should be rescheduled right away. Shevchenko was arguably ahead heading into round 4 before the tables turned, ending in the final result. Grasso's victory earned her the distinction of being the first female Mexican-born UFC champion. The stunning outcome elicited wild reactions from fellow MMA stars. They congratulated Grasso on becoming the weight class world champion. MMA stars Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, Brian Ortega, and Tracy Cortez were among those to comment on the upset. Many doubted Grasso's chances of dethroning all-time great Valentina Shevchenko heading into this past Saturday's UFC 285, and even after defeating her to become the first person to finish Shevchenko, some are still refusing to give Grasso her due. At first glance, some may see Grasso's historic upset win over Shevchenko as a stroke of luck, a costly error by Shevchenko, or even one of the MMA god's rare but recurring wildcards. Either way, there's no doubt this victory was deserved. Grasso stated her willingness to compete against Shevchenko again in a rematch, but no specifics have been announced. Given Shevchenko's dominance at the top, an immediate rematch does seem likely. Daniel Cormier, on the other hand, wants Valentina Shevchenko to postpone her rematch with Alexa Grasso. Daniel Cormier recently shared his thoughts in a YouTube video on Bullet's demands to run it right back with Alexa Grasso after losing the title. Cormier believes it is too early for Shevchenko to make significant progress and encourages her to reconsider the situation. Cormier said it got him wondering what she had to change. She made a mistake and she was very open about it, but it's hardly that simple. Alexa was winning the stand-up even though everyone had thought of Valentina as an unstoppable force on her feet. But the Mexican MMA fighter managed to hurt the Bullet pretty early in round 1. She almost forced Valentina to wrestle and change her game plan in order to stay with her and compete. That's how good Alexa Grasso was. In the video, Cormier also recapped UFC 285 and discussed the women's flyweight title fight between Shevchenko and Grasso, which ended in an upset. He suggested that the former champion revisit a rematch rather than pursuing it right away. He talked about how the former champ, Valentina Shevchenko, does want a rematch and she is entitled to that with 8 title defenses. But the question is whether Valentina really wants it, or should she reconsider and come back to this matchup later? Cormier believes that every time they fight, the former champion will have a difficult time. He's also surprised that Valentina has made so many errors in her last 2 title fights. Shevchenko lost her flyweight title in a 4th round submission loss to Alexa Grasso in the co-main event of UFC 285. It was a massive upset, and Shevchenko attempted a spinning kick during the fight, which resulted in her giving up her back and being submitted. Although Grasso's back take was impressive, Cormier believes Shevchenko made a mistake. He also pointed out other errors made by the former champion recently. Cormier said on his YouTube channel that he never thought he would see Valentina Shevchenko making consistent mistakes. He talked about how she made mistakes in the last fight against Taylor Santos, trying to score takedowns and rushing them, and she made mistakes in her fight with Grasso too. Ultimately, the biggest blunder was attempting that spinning back kick from close range. Cormier said the last person he remembered doing that was Chris Weidman. Trying an ill-advised spin kick against Luke Rockhold got him taken down and beaten up. The former MMA artist continued about Shevchenko, saying that it was the same thing between her and Grasso. When the Mexican fighter saw that spinning submission kick coming from the Bullet, which she said she trained for. She jumped on her back like nothing, and she went crazy trying to chase the finish. Seeing how swiftly the Bullet got taken down, Cormier believes Grasso will be a difficult opponent for Shevchenko in the future. Even though Daniel Cormier believes that Valentina Shevchenko has been making some bad mistakes, he still thinks that the Grasso fight is a winnable one for the Bullet in the future. He describes Shevchenko's wrestling success as something the former champion should consider and build on in the rematch. She struggled with takedown defense, and if she wants to keep the title, she needs to improve there. She was knocked down several times, but she never gave up the fight. Valentina began to make so many mistakes back to back because Grasso did such a good job of landing on Shevchenko every time she got on her feet. DC believes the mistakes on Shevchenko's part weren't the only reason why she was defeated. He praised Grasso and her camp for their preparations and advised Bullet to wait before returning. DC also stated that he was surprised to learn that Grasso was training for the exact situation that led to her victory in the fight. He also praised her for sticking to the game plan that saw her defeat Shevchenko. It shocked him at how much foresight their team had. And then a video came out later of her training for it. Cormier said he was talking to Javier Mendez, who explained that to have the dedication and focus to be training and preparing for a unique attack like that just tells you how locked in Alexa and her team were during the fight. Bullet stated during her post-fight interview that she wants an immediate rematch, but it will be interesting to see if she takes Cormier's advice and pursues another fight to get back on track. Meanwhile, even Ariel Helwani thinks that the UFC should avoid giving deserving Valentina Shevchenko an immediate rematch with Alexa Grasso. The longtime MMA journalist believes that an immediate rematch may not be in the best interests of the UFC. Valentina Shevchenko was gracious in defeat to Alexa Grasso, but she wants a second chance at UFC 285. Shevchenko blamed a stupid decision for her loss to Grasso in Saturday's main event. Definitely an immediate rematch because I knew I was winning the fight, she told Joe Rogan at Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena. Helwani wonders if they should learn a lesson from the Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes fight, where they had the opportunity for an incredible moment, but it was done too soon and she lost, which almost felt like the moment it was all building up for never existed. Regardless of Helwani's stance, he understands why the UFC may be leaning towards an immediate rematch given Shevchenko's dominance. Unimaginative or not, the Shevchenko upset effectively stands as a potential trilogy with Amanda Nunes, who recently reclaimed her bantamweight title from Juliana Pena in July 2022. That was all about what Daniel Cormier thought of Shevchenko and Grasso having a rematch.